Stonebraker. I've been a member of PBS almost from the beginning. A regular member for a lot of years. We live here in Eldora, Iowa. This is our hometown. We were born and raised here. We went away for about 10 years and then moved back and started a pharmacy here.
I'm Mary Stonebraker, and I've been a regular member of PBS for 35 years, partially due to the influence of my husband, but I earned it on my own. I'm a retired pastor and wife and raised 2 kids.
All right, Bill, how did you get into bow hunting?
I started bow hunting, I think, when I was 5 or 6 years old. My neighbor and I built bows out of willow sticks and shot cane arrows, mostly at squirrels and robins. And from there we just progressed as we went along. We both bow hunted clear through high school. I hunted Iowa's first bow season. It was a 10-day season. The first week of November. I can't remember what year, 1958 I believe. Didn't get a deer, shot a tree. Progressed from there to shooting competitively, and then got married, had a couple of kids, and everybody got very involved with it. And we shot tournament archery and traveled every weekend and shot tournament archery for 5-6 years, I suppose.
And I got started because I didn't want to stay home. So it was either learn to shoot a bow or stay home. I'm not sure that I think that Bill liked it when I started hunting, but I think that he thought I would get too cold and not like sitting in trees, so he thought I would give it up, but I lasted for many years.
So to both of you, starting with Bill, why do you bow hunt?
Why do I bow hunt? I guess I've never questioned why I bow hunt because I've done it all my life. I don't hunt big game at all with anything but a bow. I enjoy the closeness of the animals. I enjoy being with the animals. I enjoy the long seasons we have here in Iowa, where now that I'm retired I can hunt every day for 2 months. Whether I shoot a deer or not anymore, I probably don't care. Although it was kind of exciting to shoot my deer last year after I'd been sick for 2 years. So that's about it.
And I bow hunt probably first because of the influence of Bill, but once I started sitting in trees and enjoying the woods and observing all the animals that we bow hunters have the privilege of seeing, I was hooked. And I probably have had my best seasons when I didn't harvest a deer, but I got to experience things that many people don't get to experience.
Mary, do you hunt alone or are you always hunting with Bill?
I hunt alone. But probably some of our best experiences are when we're both in tree stands pretty close together. And although one time we were in tree stands close together and I had a big buck come in and bed down in the shallow in front of me, and I thought, well, I'll just let him sleep and he'll get up and he'll come up the trail to me. And about that time I heard Bill rattle and the big buck went up the hill to him and Bill shot it. So I think we have a lot of fun when we hunt together.
All right, Bill, talk about a memorable hunt you've had and why it's special to you.
I've had so many hunts it's hard to determine. Probably the hunt of a lifetime was my float trip with Jay Massey and down the river in Alaska for moose hunting. It was a 3-week trip and really a wild, wonderful trip. I've been to Africa with my wife twice. That's a joyous place to be if you're a hunter, because everybody's a hunter over there. Probably, outside of that, probably bear hunting is probably the one thing that I concentrated on besides whitetails. And I've hunted bears for 30 years. I've killed 21, all with a recurve. And I get a kick out of bear hunting. I get a kick out of baiting bears. I get a kick out of stalking bears. I stalked one in Alaska in a blueberry patch, and that was really a thrill. It was kind of funny because I was stalking the bear in a blueberry patch, and I took my shoes off because I didn't want to make any noise. I was carrying a 44 Magnum pistol for protection, and I took that off because I thought I'd catch that on something. And so when I got within 7 yards of that bear and it was eating blueberries, and I would see how big it was, I thought, boy, that was the most dumbest thing I ever did, is drop that pistol. So I just pulled my bow back and let an arrow fly, and luckily the bear went down the hill, not back at me. But it was a 3-week drop camp hunt, and it was the second day of the hunt. So we didn't know what to do with the bear. It's the first time I'd ever had to take a bear apart. And we dug a hole in the tundra deep enough so we hit the permafrost, and we stored everything in there, and then we sawed the bear hide down and brought it home. It's on the wall here.
Would you say that's your favorite species then, bear?
No. I think I get the most excitement out of it. My favorite species, obviously, living in Iowa, is whitetail. How many millions of hours I sit in trees and hunted whitetails, and been lucky to kill a few big ones and lucky to see a few big ones that got away. But whitetail would be my favorite, probably.
Awesome. Mary, how about you?
My favorite hunting story is when we were hunting in Africa. I was hunting with a young PH. Kim was probably early 20s. And we had gone out to hunt over a water hole at daybreak, and so we were. The blind was a hole, and anybody that's hunted in Africa has hunted this kind of blind. It's a hole in the ground, and then there's a grass roof over the top of it, and then there's holes through the grass to shoot out of. So we were in the blind at daybreak. And nothing came in, and then about noon, cat came in.
Cheetah.
A cheetah came in, and the cheetah came in and licked the water from the water hole and looked up, and it was like he was looking right at me through the blind opening, and then he walked towards the hole I was looking out. And he walked over the top of the blind, so I saw his feet over my head. And then Kim, the PH, said there won't be anything come in because the scent of the cougar will be around the water hole, or the cheetah will be around the water hole. So I just sat down and started reading my book, and Kim looked out, and he was a fair-complected European, but all the color went out of his face, and he said, "It's an elephant." And I thought, the night before during cocktail hour, people were talking about what the most dangerous animal in the bush was, and they said it was a rogue elephant that had been kicked out of the bachelorhood and was traveling on his own. That's what this was. It was a big bull elephant with about 24-inch tusks by himself. And it came into the water hole. And the water hole was something new because they had just dug it a couple days before. And there were tracks around it of elephants. And so this blind was new. So he would suck up water and spray the blind, and the water would come in over our heads. And for a while, I thought, did I tell Bill I loved him this morning? Because also the night before, they'd gone through what an elephant does. He kneels on you and pulls you apart with his tusks. So anyway, for a while I thought, okay, I'm just not going to look. And then I thought, well, that's pretty stupid. This is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. So I stood up and started watching. And the elephant just kept coming closer and closer and closer to our blind and kept spraying water at it. And then when nothing came out of it, he just kind of shook his head, turned around, and lumbered out of the water hole, put his trunk up and pulled a big branch off a tree and wandered off. And about that time, the a professional hunter that was in charge came in with his vehicle, which was early, but he had seen the elephant and was concerned about our well-being. So we got out, and as I passed one of the trackers, one of the African trackers, he said, sorry, 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 like he said, sorry that the elephant frightened me, which it did, but it was the greatest experience. It was a neat experience that I tell way too many people, according to my husband.
Okay, Bill, what attracted you to the PBS and why did you join?
I was real active in the Iowa Bowhunters Association when Laverne Wook and Kiko Tovar were the officers in it. And of course they started the PBS, were in original boards. And so, Dick Eldridge was there also. And I just followed along in their footsteps more than anything. The things that they were talking about were everything I wanted to talk about, so I followed in their footsteps and worked hard and became a regular member.
Awesome. How about you, Mary?
Obviously, Bill's influence, the ethics that I observed that he had. I also looked up to Kiko and Laverne Wook and Dick Eldridge. Dick and Kiko wrote letters of recommendation for me when I became a regular member. I think for both of us, it's the ethics that PBS endorses and practices that are important to us, that we want to be proficient in our sport. We don't want to wound animals. If we do a wound animal, we trail it until we cannot possibly trail it anymore. We don't want to take any chances. We want to be good hunters. And that's what PBS embodies for me, and that's why I wanted to be part of it.
Talk about why you think it's important to be a PBS member.
I think anybody that's involved in a sport, no matter what it is, should be and give back to that sport. I think PBS is an excellent way for us to give back to the future of bow hunting, whether it be teaching young kids the ethics of hunting with a bow and arrow, or whether it be defending our game laws at the state level. All those things we need somebody that we can trust to do all those things, as well as do them ourselves, of course. But I believe in that organization has come a long, long ways while I've been a member, and they're really on top of it right now.
Awesome.
I think that it is important to represent your sport at the best level that you can, and I think it doesn't get much higher than PBS. I'm always proud to wear my PBS belt buckle, although I wish I had the original one that my husband gets to wear instead of the one that was available when I became a regular member. I'm always proud to say I'm a PBS member because I think it says a lot about what you want to experience and how you want to experience it. And as we said, we were good friends with 3 of the founders, and I was always proud to be able to relate with them and to tell them I'm a part of what you started.
What do you hope future generations of bow hunters will carry on from the past, or what can they improve on that you think needs work?
I hope that the progression of equipment, whether the PBS or whether we as bow hunters limit ourselves to it, doesn't destroy the sport. Obviously, I'm death against the crossbow. It's nothing but a rifle with shoots an arrow. The new air guns are a poacher's delight. We need to stop some of that stuff. Manufacturers control the industry right now, and I think probably somewhere down the line we've got to put a stop to that, whether we quit using their equipment or somehow slow it down so bow hunting stays bow hunting and we continue to have the ethics that we've had in the past.
What would you say to people that say the air bow and the crossbow are things that we need to get young people into the sport? Like, what's your response to that?
I would say that that's not the sport. That if you can't get them into, if you can't entice somebody into becoming an outdoorsman and a bow hunter, then we shouldn't be doing it.
We are the Stonebreakers, and we are PBS.